There is often confusion about the true purpose of bounties in One Piece. Many people assume that a high bounty solely reflects the cumulative actions of a person against the government. In reality, the value of a bounty simply measures the power of a character, indicating how hard it would be to capture them. It is a tradition in many shonen series to quantify a character's power through numbers, and One Piece follows this pattern. Similarly, One Piece also introduced the Doriki system to measure the physical strength of CP9 agents. Bounties are not a perfect reflection of a character's true strength. They are based on the world government's knowledge of an individual, which can sometimes be incomplete or inaccurate. Some characters have been mistakenly assessed as either stronger or weaker than they actually are. However, bounties are still intended to gauge the power of a wanted individual, even if they are based on rough estimates. In some cases, the government has falsely credited certain characters with feats to justify giving them a higher bounty than expected. There are instances in One Piece where characters literally use bounties as power scaling. If bounties were a reflection of how much the government wants to capture someone or the incidents they have been involved with, Luffy's bounty before the timeskip would make little sense. On the other hand, Luffy's bounty saw significant increases after the Whole Cake Island and Wano arcs, even though he defeated other pirates. Instead, his bounty rose because he defeated powerful adversaries and had become much stronger. Further, there is a parallel between Luffy's rising bounties and his increasing power. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know what you think. The amount displayed on a bounty poster reflects the power of an individual, or at least how powerful the world government believes that character to be. Bounties serve as a means to gauge how difficult it would be to capture a wanted person, such as a pirate. The stronger a person is believed to be, the higher the bounty they receive. A new bounty is typically issued when someone becomes involved in a major incident, as it reveals their true strength to the government. Many shonen series utilize numerical values to quantify the physical strength or aura of a character. For instance, in Dragon Ball Z, which heavily influenced One Piece, characters often employed scouters to measure an opponent's ki in battle power units. Ironically, this method was frequently deemed unreliable because individuals could learn to control their ki, leading to fluctuations in their power readings. In One Piece, bounties are not the only way strength is measured. The Doriki system is another method used to assess the physical power of CP9 agents. In this system, an average armed soldier has around 10 Doriki, while a score of 500 or higher is sufficient to classify someone as a superhuman. In comparison, the bounty system in One Piece is relatively limited, with the figures often serving as rough approximations rather than precise measurements of an individual's capabilities. Most bounties are issued by the world government through the Marines, aiming to inform the public about dangerous criminals and to encourage civilian participation in their capture. The specific amount assigned to a bounty is calculated by a specialized department within Marine headquarters, headed by Commodore Brand New. However, the process is inherently flawed, as the Marines can only base their assessments on the information they have about the individual in question. Consequently, a bounty may not accurately reflect the true strength or abilities of a person. In certain instances, bounties can significantly diverge from the actual strength of a wanted individual. A prime example of this discrepancy can be seen with characters like Usopp and Buggy, whose bounties are disproportionately high relative to their actual power. While readers may recognize that their bounties are inflated, Usopp and Buggy have been involved in numerous high-stakes battles, and it is entirely reasonable for characters within the One Piece world to view Usopp and Buggy as powerful individuals. On the flip side, characters like Chopper and Bappo were often misunderstood and regarded as mere pets of their respective crews, which resulted in their bounties being insignificant. Additionally, Blackbeard maintained a low profile, and as a result, he had no bounty on his head when he joined the Seven Warlords. Although he possessed the strength to leave a scar on Shank's face, this information was not public knowledge. Brand New also relies on rough estimates when assessing an individual's strength, particularly when that person has acted as part of a group, as it becomes increasingly difficult to discern how much credit each individual deserves for a collective effort. For example, after Doflamingo's defeat, the bounties of the Straw Hat Pirates and their allies increased by at least 50 million berries. Oda has also confirmed in a SBS that the reason why some commanders of the 4 emperors are worth over 1 billion is because their bounties are increased alongside those of their captains. Moreover, Luffy's bounty was also leveled off with the captains of crews that allied with the Straw Hat Pirates. After the Dressrosa arc, both Luffy and Trafalgar Law were awarded bounties of 500 million berries. When Luffy, Law, and Eustace Kid defeated the Emperors Kaido and Big Mom, each of them received a bounty of 3 billion. In the case of Nico Robin, the world government resorted to outright deception regarding her strength to justify her bounty of 79 million berries when she was just a child. They falsely attributed the sinking of 6 battleships during the Ohara incident to her. In reality, the government's true motive for wanting to capture Robin stemmed from her ability to decipher poneglyphs, which hold information about the Void Century. This situation implies that Commodore Brand New and the Marines are likely doing their best when estimating bounty amounts, as the government fabricated a story to rationalize such an unreasonable bounty for a young girl. If bounties were meant to reflect the crimes committed by an individual, Robin's bounty would logically be much higher. The government considers studying the Void Century one of the gravest offenses, as it could grant access to the ancient weapons which are said to be capable of destroying the world. The entire Enies Lobby arc revolves around the world government's efforts to capture Robin, which far exceeds what her actual bounty would suggest. During her capture, the CP9 agents even ignored Luffy's presence, despite his bounty being higher than Robin's. When Aokiji explained why Robin had such a high bounty at the age of 8, he clarified that a bounty measures not only an individual's power but also how much of a threat they pose to the world government. Considering Robin's case is an exception to the rule and the government fabricated a story to justify her bounty, Aokiji is implying that, under normal circumstances, a bounty reflects a person's strength rather than other factors. We have repeatedly seen characters use bounties as a way to gauge someone's strength. Mr. 5 noted that Mr. 3 used his wax armor to defeat someone with a bounty of 42 million. Smoker commented that Zoro's 60 million bounty was fitting after Zoro took down 100 bounty hunters at Whiskey Peak and defeated Mr. 1. Blackbeard remarked that, based on Luffy's haki, a bounty of 30 million was far too low for him. A bystander was astonished that Bellamy, with a 55 million bounty, was like an insect compared to Doflamingo. During the Davy Back fight, the announcer remarked that Luffy had the strength of someone with a 100 million bounty. Smoker expressed disappointment at how easily he defeated a pirate with a 50 million bounty. Moria claimed that Luffy's shadow carried the strength of 300 million berries and that it would create the strongest zombie in history. Moria asked Kuma about Blackbeard's bounty to gauge his strength. Upon learning it was 0, Moria noted that Blackbeard's power was uncertain to the government. A pirate was in disbelief that a pacifista had effortlessly defeated someone with an 80 million bounty. A gladiator mentioned that although Chinjiao had weakened with age, he was once worth over 500 million berries. Usopp remarked that a 300 million bounty made sense for someone with Caesar Clown's power. Beach pointed out that it was no wonder Katakuri's bounty exceeded 1 billion, given his ability to see the future. Perospero told Pedro he would not stand a chance against someone like himself with a 700 million bounty. Brand New stated that while no pirate had ever surpassed Roger and Whitebeard's bounties, the combined bounties of Kaido and Big Mom easily exceeded theirs, implying that if they joined forces, they could overpower Roger or Whitebeard. Marco admitted he could not take on 2 opponents, each worth over 1 billion, simultaneously. Shanks cautioned his crew not to underestimate Kid, as he had a bounty of 3 billion. Before we continue, you have probably noticed that more and more people are using a VPN to browse the web these days. And there is a good reason for it. A VPN gives you access to the entire internet, something you are not getting right now, as you are restricted to content available only in your region. With NordVPN, you can change your virtual location to just about anywhere in the world. Want to watch anime on Netflix that is only available in Japan? With just a click, you can. But it is not just about unlocking content. NordVPN also protects your privacy, which is more important than ever. Without a VPN, your IP address is visible to others, and anyone can find out where you're accessing the internet from. However, with NordVPN, your IP address is hidden, keeping your browsing activity private and secure. If you're not already using a VPN, you're seriously missing out. And the best part? NordVPN comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk in trying it out. Plus, by signing up, you'll be directly supporting this channel. Check out the link in the description below and get started with NordVPN today. Now back to our video. Bounties as a measure of power played a major role during the Jaya arc. When Bellamy was introduced, he quickly defeated a pirate with a 42 million bounty, given that his own bounty was even higher at 55 million. When Bellamy heard that Luffy had a 100 million bounty, he outright dismissed it as fake, believing that based on their previous encounter, Luffy could not possibly be that strong. However, Bellamy stood no chance against Luffy, who defeated him with a single punch, proving Luffy's bounty was well-deserved. Luffy's ability to take down Bellamy, a pirate whose bounty was higher than his own previous one, emphasized how stronger Luffy grew since East Blue. It is evident that bounties reflect a person's strength. There are many instances where characters engage in actions against the world government without it impacting their bounty, or where their bounty increases solely due to their growing strength, even though they have not done anything that directly harms the government or the public. When a pirate is appointed as one of the 7 warlords, their bounty is revoked, meaning they are no longer considered wanted criminals by the world government. However, if they lose their warlord title, their previous bounty is immediately reinstated. If bounties were solely based on the crimes committed, a former warlord's bounty should technically reset to 0 upon their removal, as they were pardoned for past offenses and served as government allies during their time as warlords. But that is not the case. Instead, when the 7 warlord system was abolished, their bounties were revised, and some received new bounties exceeding 1 billion berries, indicating a significant rise in their perceived threat. This increase reflects how much stronger they became compared to when they first joined. It does not make sense to view Luffy's bounty as a reflection of his crimes. His pre-time skip bounties were surprisingly low, given the magnitude of his actions. After Luffy defeated Crocodile, a former warlord of the sea, his bounty rose to 100 million berries. This disrupted the balance of power in the world and was a major blow to the government, prompting even the 5 elders to discuss his case. However, when you consider the broader scale of events in the world, a 100 million bounty seems absurdly small for such a feat. It is highly unlikely the 5 elders concern themselves with every pirate who reaches a 100 million bounty. Luffy's bounty rose to 300 million after the assault on Enies Lobby, where he rescued Nico Robin from one of the world government's 3 major strongholds, alongside Marine headquarters and Impel Down. Even Shaki, a former pirate once hunted by Garp, was impressed by it. However, if bounties truly measured the severity of a pirate's crimes, Luffy's bounty should have been astronomical after the Enies Lobby incident. Yet, his bounty was only raised to 300 million berries, and even with that figure, he was still seen as a rookie. Now consider how many characters have bounties higher than 300 million. Is it really plausible that each of these pirates committed acts more severe than attacking Enies Lobby? Luffy's bounty did not change after defeating another warlord or even after attacking St. Charlos, a celestial dragon. Sanji and Usopp also attacked a celestial dragon during the Sabaody Archipelago arc, yet their bounties remained untouched as well. It was not until Luffy caused a mass breakout at Impel Down and took a prominent role in the Marineford War that his bounty rose, reaching 400 million berries. Even then, this was a surprisingly small increase considering the enormity of his actions. Commodore Brand-New even held a special meeting to address Luffy's case after the war, yet his bounty only went up by 100 million. This is all without even considering the later revelation that Luffy possesses a highly important devil fruit, one the government had been seeking for centuries. When Luffy first received his 30 million bounty during the East Blue Saga, Commodore Brand-New justified the amount based on Luffy's victories over Buggy, Don Krieg, and Arlong. Despite Luffy and his crew also attacking Captain Morgan and Captain Izumi, both Marine officers, these incidents were not factored into his bounty. Instead, his bounty was determined based on the pirate captains he defeated. In the whole Cake Island and Wano arcs, the Straw Hats' bounties saw significant increases, even though Luffy fought pirates in nations not affiliated with the world government. From the government's perspective, they had not committed any crimes. However, their bounties rose dramatically, reflecting their newfound strength and growth rather than any wrongdoing. In Wano, the combined bounties of Luffy, Law, and Kid nearly matched the total bounties of Kaido and Big Mom, further proving that bounties are used as a rough estimate of strength. These bounty increases were about their rising power levels and nothing else. There is a clear correlation between the evolution of Luffy's power and the increase in his bounty over time. One good example of this is his 400 million berries bounty. While the 100 million increase may seem small compared to the immense damage he caused to the world government, it reflects a small improvement in strength between the Enies Lobby and Marineford arcs. During this period, Luffy's abilities became more refined. After using Gear 3rd, his body no longer shrank as it used to, and the Marines witnessed him using Conqueror's Haki to halt Ace's execution. These improvements justify the relatively modest increase from 300 to 400 million berries. In the case of the Dressrosa and Wano arcs, Luffy's bounty later leveled off with his allies, so his individual amount appears smaller than expected. It can be assumed that the defeat of Doflamingo should have been worth around 1 billion berries, and the defeat of Kaido and Big Mom, 2 of the 4 emperors, could be valued at a combined total of 9 billion berries. As previously mentioned, bounties are merely estimates based on the information available to the Marines and the world government, meaning they are far from perfect indicators of a character's power level. Because of that, fans should view them as rough estimates, not a definitive ranking of strength. Now I would like to hear your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Make sure to get NordVPN and support this channel. Link in the description.